Welcome to the briefing room here at Downing Street. How's it feel?
Good.
I hear you've got lots of questions for me. So this is where I do a lot of press conferences, a lot of briefings, with journalists sitting where you are, and you're going to be part of it. How's that feel?
Good.
I think I've got a number of questions. Cassius, you're first up with your question at this briefing session.
I'm a Spurs supporter and I know that you support Arsenal, but we can still be friends. I love playing football too, but I'm worried that not all kids have opportunities. Shouldn't the government be investing in more sports facilities like football pitches to give more kids something to do?
Well, Cassius, let me first forgive you for being a Spurs fan. I am an Arsenal fan and I love football. I think it's really important that we have the ability, particularly children, to play football. And play all sport, actually, but sport gives us the ability to come together, to enjoy what we're doing, and we need real facilities for that. So I'm a big supporter of more facilities for football, more facilities for all sports, because I think it's very good, obviously, for our physical health, for our mental health, but also just the way we react to each other. And I suspect all of you have got a sport that you like. Is your favourite sport football? Yeah, I think it's really important that we have that ability to come together, to actually work in a team as well, which is a skill beyond football. There's obviously the skill on the pitch, but how do you act with other people? How are you part of a team is really important. So thank you, Cassius, for that question. I'm going to go now to Emma. Emma.
In a recent study of kids, more than 3/4 said that they think music is as important as maths and it should be taught more in school. What are you doing to make sure that art subjects like music, drama and arts aren't forgotten about?
Do you like music?
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I think music's really important. I actually studied music when I was growing up, so I played a number of instruments. Do you play an instrument? What do you play?
The violin, the piano and 3 types of recorder.
The violin, piano, 3 types of recorder. That's really impressive. Lots of people do music in the room? Hands up. Nearly everybody. I think it's really important because I think there's a lot of joy in music. There's a lot of joy in learning how to play an instrument. And that'll stay with you for life. Thank you very much. Now we're coming to question 3. Adriana, I've got. Yes, please.
I want to buy a house when I grow up, but I know it's really hard to save up enough money. How are you going to fix the housing crisis so more of us will be able to own our homes one day?
Well, Adriana, thank you for raising that question because it's a very important question, because having your own house is about having your own front door. It's about having a place that you know is yours. Nobody can move you out. And it's a base camp, if you like, for life that you can build your opportunities and your aspiration around. So we have to make sure that young people can get houses as quickly as possible, and I'm really glad that you've already decided that you want to get your own home. What we're going to do to make that happen is build lots more houses. We don't have enough houses at the moment, and so we've got what we call a mission, which is a driving sense of purpose to build 1.5 million houses, but also to make sure that there's enough affordable housing so that everybody can get a house that they can call their own and treat it as a base camp for everything they do in life. Well, keep that dream alive because it's very, very important. Right, now we go to Ravi, I think. Ravi.
My brain tumour was missed by my GPs, so we had to go to a private doctor who thankfully found it before it was too late. What's your plan to increase confidence in our amazing NHS?
Well, Ravi, first, I think I'm right in saying that your tumour's now been dealt with?
Pretty much. Yes.
Pretty much. So you've been through a huge amount already, so you will know just how important the NHS is. And all of us, I think, have these personal stories of the NHS being so important to us. It may be you with your brain tumour, it may be your mum and dad, your parents, your sisters, your brothers, these moments when the NHS is vitally important for us. And this is quite personal for me as well, because my wife works in the NHS. My sister worked in the NHS. My mum was a nurse. My wife's mother was a GP. And so we have got the NHS running through our blood, if you like. What we've done, Ravi, is to make sure that we've invested more money in our NHS, because you will know some of the equipment is very expensive. We need specialist staff to deal with operations, including your operation. So we've invested the money. We also need the NHS to change so that it works better. So we're putting more money in, but we're also reforming and changing the NHS so that it works even better for the future. It's been with us now for a long time. It was set up by a Labour government. I want to make sure it's with us for a long time to come, and that's why we're taking the approach that we are. Thank you so much, Ravi. I'm now going to Bella. You're joining the briefing room here in Downing Street remotely. What's your question, Bella?
Okay, so what was your favourite thing to do when you were younger? Did you always want to be Prime Minister, and is the job anything like you expected? There's so many important things you need to think about as Prime Minister, like schools, NHS, crime, and climate change. You as Prime Minister, how can you decide what matters most?
Well, Bella, firstly, in terms of what I liked to do when I was growing up, I liked to play football. And I used to play football all the time, before school, during breaks, after school. And obviously, once upon a time, I wanted to be a footballer, but soon learnt that I wasn't good enough for that. And then actually, Bella, I became a lawyer. So for many years, I was a lawyer before I finally came into politics. And what brought me into politics, and the reason I'm standing here as Prime Minister answering your questions in the briefing room, is this profound sense and belief I have that we can change lives for the better. We can change the lives of millions of people in this country for the better on all the issues that you mentioned, whether that's in terms of the economy and the cost of living and how well people feel they are feeling better off, whether it's the health service, as Ravi was just quizzing me on, whether it's better schools and making sure that every child gets the best opportunities in life. That's what drives me forward. And in terms of the job itself, and was it what I expected, it's a huge privilege, Bella, to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, to be able to take decisions which have an impact on people's lives for the better. That is an incredible privilege. And I never forget what a privilege it is to be able to serve the country. Good, right. I think we're staying online now. Sarah, the floor is yours. You've just entered the briefing room at Downing Street virtually. Very nice to see you both. So, Sarah, do you want to put your question for this press conference?
I like the outdoors. What are you doing to help the air I breathe?
Well, Sarah, firstly, I think pretty well everybody in the room would like the outdoors. I think it's really important that children, young people, all of us get outdoors as much as possible for fresh air, for enjoyment, for exercise, and also to see the beautiful countryside that we've got across the United Kingdom. We do have to make sure that we have clean air for you to breathe. And I think this is really important. I've got two children. I've got a boy who's 16 and a girl who's 14. And the way I see it is this: I wouldn't give them dirty water to drink, and I wouldn't want them to breathe in dirty air. And therefore, it's really important that we make sure our water is clean and our air is clean. And that's why we're doing a lot of work to ensure that that's the position across the country. It's always more of a challenge in a city than in the countryside, but we're taking a number of measures to make sure that the air that you breathe is and remains clean air, just as we want the water that you drink to be clean water as well. Thank you very much, Sarah. I'm coming back to the room now, I think, to Freya. Freya, your question.
My dad is a police officer and my mum is a doctor, so both my parents are working hard to give us a better life. How are you helping working parents juggle their life at work and at home?
This is such a good question. And can you say thank you to your mummy and daddy when you see them later on today for what they're doing, as all of you must do, because these are really important jobs. My job is to make sure that they have more money in their pocket so that they can do the things that they want to do with you and with your family. And that means making sure that however difficult the decisions are that we have to take, that we don't increase the tax on working people like your mum and dad so that they've got the money at the end of the month that they've earned during their job. To make sure there's support in place for children. So we're starting our breakfast clubs, which are clubs before school where children can come for breakfast, for support, and to allow parents to drop their children off so they can go to work and get on with their job. So there's things like that we can do, and of course making sure that the NHS and other services are there for them when they need them. But the most important thing is making sure that we deal with this cost of living crisis and make sure people feel better off. Because when you feel better off, you can do the little things that matter hugely in life. What do you do for your birthday? Where are you going on holiday? Are you able to go out with your mum and dad and do the things that you want to do? These are the things that are really precious to us. And most important in politics, in a way, is who do you have in your mind's eye when you're making your decisions? So thank you, Freya. I've got Kayla, I think. Kayla.
I live in central London and will be going to secondary school in September. What are you doing to tackle antisocial behaviour to keep young people safe where we live and at school?
Well, thank you for raising antisocial behaviour, because this is an issue we have to take really seriously, because if there's antisocial behaviour, it means that you don't necessarily feel safe in your community, and that can't be right. You must be able to move around your community feeling safe and secure. So the first thing we're going to do is to make sure we've got more neighbourhood police officers. These are police officers who are in your neighbourhood, who know your neighbourhood, and are making sure that things are safe for you. And so we're going to have more of those police officers. We will also give them powers to deal with people who are misbehaving. So they'll have what we are going to call respect orders, which means they can take action against people who are misbehaving or causing antisocial behaviour and do something about it, particularly if it's repeat behaviour. Third, and most importantly, we have to be clear that antisocial behaviour is serious. Some people say to me, oh, antisocial behaviour, it's annoying, but it's not really serious. I think it is really serious because it impacts on your life and the lives of people in your community. So that's why we take it so seriously. Right, I think we're going to Rosie now for our final question. Rosie.
There is so much misinformation and fake news online, but sorry.
That's all right.
There is so much misinformation and completely fake news online, but I feel like other people are trying to force their opinions on us before we get a chance to form our own. How do you think young people can navigate this?
Well, I think this is really important because as you all access online, and you will do more as you get older, it's important that that's a safe space. And that's why we've got what we call the Online Safety Act. The name of the law speaks for itself, online, so it covers what's online, safety, to make sure what's there is safe, and it's legislation that means it can be enforced. The online world offers us a huge amount of information, which is incredible for knowledge and for learning. But we also need to know that it's not always safe, and therefore it's the job of government to make sure it's a safe environment. Thank you very much for that, Rosie. Now, we've had 9 questions in this press conference, but the 10th question, the final question, comes from me to you. You've all asked me your questions, so I've got a question for you. Did you like your tour of Downing Street? Hands up if you did. And what was the best thing? Yeah.
The best thing of the tour of Downing Street was looking at the portraits of all the different prime ministers.
The portraits of all the different prime ministers? All the ones all the way up the wall? Yes, at the back in the red shirt, in the red jumper.
I like some of the sculptures and the sword which was in one of the rooms.
The sword, yes, in the cabinet room I think it is, on a bit of green velvet. And did you like being in the cabinet room?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
So that's where we meet as a cabinet every week to make the big decisions for the country. So you got right into the heart of government there. Yes?
I enjoyed looking at the rocks from the moon and the flag that went in space.
Oh, the flag that went into space, that's really special, isn't it? It gives you a real sense of what we've achieved. Behind you?
I liked seeing Larry the cat.
Larry the cat?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a story about Larry the cat, because Larry has been in Downing Street for a long time. He's usually near the front door, which is where you may have seen him. But since I became Prime Minister, I now live here in Downing Street with my family, so my wife and my son and my daughter. And we've got 2 cats. We've got Jojo, who we've had for many years, and then a new kitten called Prince. It's a white kitten, a Siberian cat with blue eyes. But he's very tiny and very cute. So at the moment we've had to keep him away from Larry in case Larry doesn't like him. But he's a very cute little kitten. What did other people like? Yes, at the back. In the yellow.
I really enjoyed all the artwork on the walls.
The artwork? Yeah, it's quite incredible, isn't it? Had you been into Downing Street before?
No.
So it's nice to see it. It's amazing, isn't it? You come through the front door and you think it can't be very big in there. And then it's massive once you get through the front door. Other people, what did you like? Yeah, please.
I enjoyed hearing about all the history.
You enjoyed hearing about all the history? Yeah, there's a lot of it here. It's got history everywhere in Downing Street. And you were going to tell me your favourite.
Yeah, so as I was walking up the stairs and I saw all these past prime ministers, I saw Winston Churchill.
Winston Churchill, yeah. There's a few portraits of him, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very important prime minister. He was a wartime prime minister. And so he's probably the best known of all of our prime ministers. And again, just imagine that you're Winston Churchill and he was sitting in the rooms that you've been in, making decisions in World War II. It's quite a big piece of history, isn't it, that we're really part of here. What about yourself?
I like the bees on the cabinet. Like there's a bee. There are bees.
Yeah, the bees in the room on the first floor, I think it is. Yeah. Did you expect to see bees in the room like that this morning? It's a little bit of detail, isn't it? So when someone asks you, what did you think of Downing Street, you can give a little bit of detail there that nobody else or very few people know about.
I liked how symmetrical the walls were.
Symmetrical the rooms are? Yes, I suppose they are. I hadn't really thought about that, but they're quite, if you take the cabinet room, it's precisely symmetrical, isn't it? So, it's... and the table, did you notice the table in the cabinet room, a sort of oval shape, which is to make sure everybody can be seen when they're sitting in their chair, which if it was just a sort of oblong table, it wouldn't be so easy.
My favourite was seeing how all the different prime ministers left their marks anywhere they could, basically.
Yes, they certainly did. And I don't think you'll have seen this, but there's a chair of Winston Churchill's. He liked a particular leather chair, and the chair has got a little hole in it, which is where he used to have his cigar, and he let it burn the chair. So you've got these little details of the prime ministers. Well, look, thank you very much for all your questions. Thanks for answering my questions. I think you've probably answered more of my questions now than I answered of yours. But I think, are we going to do a picture now? Is that the plan?